Hey Joe, so Lynn's going to be joining by phone tonight, so I'm going to run the presentation.
Yeah, I got an email from her.
Okay.
Hello, I'm here.
And why was this thing canceled and another thing sent? Do we know?
I don't know why.
There's been a problem with Zoom all day. I know another meeting today nobody could get into, so I don't know if that was
Oh,
why.
really?
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
Jason, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. Hanging in there.
Excellent. Sounds good.
We have a new background for you. We're not in San Francisco or any other place tonight.
I'm on my phone today because I have to move around the house. I'm taking care of my son and the dogs at the same time.
Okay,
I figured I'd be mobile today.
good idea. Do we know if the other, if the new notice went out to people?
It just went out a second ago.
1 second.
Okay, so we'll hold off start then, see if we have a quorum, so I'm not worried about that.
What was the new notice?
I got a thing saying the event canceled, and then I got a new link to join. I don't know if other people did or not. I don't know.
I just got a new invite from Sherry, so I just
Yeah,
clicked
that's
on
what
that.
I got too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's the one
6:50.
So I clicked on the new one, and it actually worked. Lynn was saying that there were problems with Zoom earlier for other meetings that she had. So we'll hang in there and see. Maybe people are, delayed getting their new notice.
I'll stay here, just no one needs to see me eating.
No, we really don't.
I get it.
Hey Joe, do you want to give me permission to share so I can bring up the presentation?
Sure. You're the co-host.
Hey, Joe, a little before 8, I'm just going to have to switch to the phone. I got to go drop off my daughter somewhere.
Okay. You have too many practices and things like that, John.
I know. I hear you.
Oh, okay. To be honest, John, I don't think we're going to be that long.
Perfect.
It took Joe a little while to say it. I was going to say.
Well, I was, I didn't want to say it, but, Chip's eating, but I haven't yet. So we're going to be quick.
Fair enough.
Okay, Mark's there now. All right, as I say, let's give it a few more minutes in case people have a problem with this noticing a new link.
Is there gonna be a problem that the newspaper link may not be valid?
What? I have no idea.
Okay, so we can still take action on stuff tonight.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah, just whether we have a quorum or not.
we do.
I think we have a quorum. Okay,
We have 7.
Joe, do we know where we stand on replacing?
This week, next week. It's on the agenda. It was supposed to be 2 weeks, a week and a half ago, but it wasn't. For some reason, it wasn't on. So the two other, there's appointments are gonna be next week. 2 appointments.
Have you seen any applications?
I have.
Okay,
And Wayne, you're one of them.
I know.
Joe, we need to make sure we update our SBC roster letter.
What? Oh, once they're named?
right.
Yes, and we have a few people to take off too.
Okay. I'm gonna give it 2 more minutes, then we'll start at 7:05, okay? I assume this new notice went to the remainder of the school building committee. Do we know? Tom Stapleton, how did you get notice of a new meeting? A new link?
No, I did not.
Joe, it appears to be, yeah, Stapleton, you're on there. Yeah, it looks like there's members of the school building committee. 'Cause
Okay.
Ray
All right.
Thompson's on there too.
All right, well, I just want to make sure. All right, 7:05, we'll open the meeting. Is there anyone who wishes to engage in public participation? Hearing and seeing none. First action is a review of the October 6th, 2022 Permanent Building Committee minutes.
I move that we approve the October 6th, 2022 meeting minutes as written.
I will second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Is there any objection to approving the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved.
Next up is review of the schematic design submission and basically any comments we may have, and then we'll take a vote to approve Left Field to submit the submission to the MSBA next Thursday, the 27th.
Lynn? Well, I know she's on the phone, so.
Yeah, Tim, I haven't looked at the latest revision, but have all the blanks been filled in and all the highlights unhighlighted and all that stuff taken care of?
Yes, to my knowledge. Helen, do you want to confirm that? I believe you're all set.
Yes. Yes, we've
Yeah.
gotten the rest of the missing pieces.
Okay,
Is there any discussion or comments regarding the schematic design submission to the MSBA?
Wow. I
Okay,
guess
Nothing.
nothing.
I move that we approve left field to submit the schematic design to the Massachusetts School Building Authority as presented to us this evening.
All right, I will second.
Any discussion?
Joe, it's Phil. I just wanted to wait for the second. Quick question. There's really not our only choice is not to submit or to submit, like, right? Like, there's not much of a discussion on this point, right?
Well, if you thought there was something that was dramatically wrong or that needed changing or whatever, we have till the 27th to make a change or not. But it's just to submit or not to submit. Those are the two options.
And then once this is submitted, per the comment the other night, there is no changing at that point.
Correct.
Yeah, Lynn, you want to answer that?
That's correct. We will have a meeting with MSBA coming up prior to the MSBA board reviewing it. And at that point, if we wanted to change something, we could discuss it with MSBA at that point.
Between the April 2022 estimate and this estimate, were there any design changes, significant design changes, not like finishes added that contributed to the estimated cost increase?
I would answer that as no, Phil. There were a couple of items that we tried to track back that might have changed or been different, such as additional geotech that pointed us in a direction of doing some ground improvements. I think most everything that is in the design is a natural development of the design from the PSR, very diagrammatic phase to a more schematic and developed moment. So it's very difficult for us, and we've tried really hard to find it. What thing has been added, and there's nothing of a large enough value. I will say, here's one. We changed our added parking spaces from, we were looking at the corner left by the Hemlock Road relocation up to expanding Landrigan. But the only add there would be a retaining wall, right? So we always had parking in the scope, but it's shifted, it's changed, it's developed, like most everything that's in the design right now.
Okay, and one question I've heard since the meeting Tuesday, a couple times from two different people, the auxiliary gym. The auxiliary gym has always been in the submission. And if I remember, we're calling it the auxiliary gym for a reason, or what exactly does the auxiliary gym serve that the regular gym is not already serving? And do we need that? Do we need that space?
Gymnastics. And yes, you have to have it.
Gymnastics. Okay, thanks. I couldn't find the notes. I tried going through all our notes. I couldn't pick it out.
That's the main thing, because you can't take up gymnastics equipment up and down on a daily basis during season.
Okay.
And that space also becomes, God, if I remember right, dance or maybe flag twirling or something, but they use it all year round. And that's the space we have.
Yeah, I kind of explained it probably as I didn't know gym, so it's good to know. It's sort of like a swing, like extra space that could be used for various purposes as needed.
But the main
athletic, yeah,
is gymnastics to keep that.
And the other point to that, I think, is that we currently have that in our facility now. There is that separate gymnastics gym currently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Wayne, you had your hand up?
Yes, thank you. I may be a little late to the game here, but from a value engineering standpoint, being a taxpayer too, I know the price has gone through the roof, in my opinion. Have any items been considered for value engineering to reduce the cost?
I think that would come in next round of.
Maybe Helen could answer that.
I can speak quickly and then let Helen speak. We did talk about things that we would not include throughout the process, but with the volatility in the market, we are fearful of, putting this budget down to the bone because, we have to live with this budget from now through the end of the project. And I will say that during design development, if the project passes, we have a bigger opportunity to kind of delve into some of the issues to see if there are cheaper ways of doing things.
I guess $800 a square foot is a pretty staggering number. I mean, no one's really said much about it, but having been involved in many building projects, $200, $300, $400 or $500 a square foot, and now we've up to $800. I mean, is there any stop to where we're going to spend money in this project? Is there any limit? Is there a limit?
Yes, the budget we present.
This is it. This is the limit.
Wayne.
Yeah, I think what Lynn is saying, Wayne, is that by setting the budget at, we hope and we believe is the highest mark, it gives us a lot of latitude in future phases to continue to bring the cost down. If we set it too low, the danger is if the volatility continues, we'll have less elements that we can really look closely at to either reduce or eliminate. We're keeping a list. We have some elements in mind as we move forward. But again, the name of the exercise at schematic design is to set the project budget, and to go too low presents a different set of dangers.
Okay.
Thanks, Wayne. Is there any other questions or comments?
I just want the $800 per square foot is not unique to the high school. It's just that's the going rate these days, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes. And at the last community forum, a question was asked about Stoneham, and I was able to get that data. And yes, that project is tracking at $799 right now at 90% CDs. So unfortunately, it is not out of the realm of possibilities currently.
They didn't hit the 100 yet, 800 yet.
$799.
And growing.
No, I think carrying 15% for annual inflation rate right now is the right thing to do. I mean, there's no way around it. So.
No, and I think we have enough in contingency, and I think we have enough in the inflation rate. And Bond knows what's happening out there in the construction marketplace, whether it's, prices aren't coming down. They might be stabilizing a little bit. But, if you look at what the MSBA used to give you per dollar per square foot to what, or what they currently give you per dollar square foot based on what buildings used to cost 5 years ago, they haven't adjusted theirs at all. And you look at any of the local or construction that's been happening this year, they've all been $8.15 a square foot. I mean, it's just what the cost is. Yeah, it's a lot of money. I get that, and I'm not. But it's, if we want a new high school, it's what it's going to cost. There's not a lot of fluff in this design. It's a good design, but there's not a whole lot of gold leaf.
And I'll just say the main difference between Wakefield and Stoneham is we're not going to bid until 2024, whereas Stoneham, I believe, is currently forming their GMP. So there's that's what would probably make up the delta between our square foot.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments? Anyone? I assume, Wayne, you've done, you still have your hand up, but I assume you're done.
Oh, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, that's all right. Just want to make sure.
I'd like to clarify there is no gold leaf in the project.
How about silver? We need silver? I don't think I could afford to build a doghouse in my backyard right now. I'm just amazed that the school building authority has not made any effort to increase what they would allow per square foot.
Couldn't agree with you more, Wayne.
What's it, 350? Now we're at over $800? How are we gonna get this by the taxpayers?
Well,
Wayne, their offices are on 40 Broad Street in Boston.
And I generally vote Republicans. My vote is worthless, so that's the way it is. So,
all right. Don't need
So
politics.
MSBA was on our public forum call, so they did hear what everybody had to say in regards to the cost per square foot.
They were?
Yes, they were.
And didn't Jonathan say there's a group trying to mobilize the legislation to get them?
The Mass Municipal Association.
Okay. So people are recognizing that it's an issue and a problem. But we've seen in projects we've done recently that if you delay or you hold back or you don't just keep pushing forward, all things do is double in cost. So, you know, got to just keep moving.
keep moving.
All right, is there any other questions or comments regarding submission of the schematic design to the MSBA? Hearing none. Jason, on the motion. Jason?
Yep, I can make a motion to go
I
ahead.
already
and-
did.
Already made the motion.
Who seconded?
There was so much conversation, I forgot.
That's all right. The motion is to submit it to the MSBA. Are you now seeking the vote? Jason?
Yes,
Phil?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Chip?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Yes. And Tim, I saw a draft of a letter. Do we need a vote for the members of the school building committee as well? I don't know where Tim is. Tim? Lynn?
Yes, we need a vote of the full committee, PBC and school building committee.
Can you hear me now?
If they are voting members.
Well, that's the question. We don't have voting members. Lynn?
So it's just it's just the permanent building committee. Can you hear me now, Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, just for the record, is there anybody from the school building committee that is presently on the Zoom link that is opposing the submission of the schematic design to the MSBA? Okay. Tim, next.
We just have a couple upcoming design meetings. Tomorrow morning, we're meeting with the Traffic Advisory Committee. This is a joint meeting with the Northeast Metro Tech Project, where we will be presenting our both project traffic plans to the committee. I think mostly to get them in, to make sure we're all on the same board about both projects.
Do you have an idea
no.
where you're falling on the agenda?
I just want to say, we're not presenting jointly. They're two separate projects.
Right. No, good.
And they are one after the other. So I believe we are number 11 on the agenda, Chip. I don't know if that gives you any sense of timing.
Oh, it does, because I can tell you that we've got about 15 cases at the ZBA waiting for tomorrow's traffic advisory committee. So this could be a whole day meeting. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff on their agenda. But we're number 11.
We are.
Okay, so we're not till noon at it starts at 10, right?
No, it starts at
8:30.
8:30.
8:30. All right, so we might be 10:30.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification. Now, yeah, it's not a joint presentation, but we are presenting both projects are presenting tomorrow.
And Tim and Lynn have notices of the meeting been sent to the members of the permanent building committee if they wish to attend.
I believe Lynn sent out the meeting notice yesterday.
All right, so if any member of the building committee wishes to attend can do so.
Lynn, was everyone on that, or?
I thought they were, but I will check to make sure.
Just check to make sure. Okay. If anybody wants to attend, can attend. At 10, 10:30, or whenever the number 11 shows it comes to in order.
The other meeting, we met with the project. Lynn and I met with Tom Mullen and Steve Mayo to discuss further the Article 97 process in regards to the Hemlock Road relocation. We kind of came up with a strategy that was amenable to Tim Mullins, which I will let him explain to the leadership group at a further meeting. But basically, Tom thinks it was an agreement with Steve Mayo that this approach may mean we don't have to file an Article 97, but he's needed to confirm with DCR's chief legal counsel, and he was going to give us an update yesterday morning, but I don't believe he's had the conversation yet. So he asked to push his update till the following Wednesday on the 26th. And he also needed to talk to the Metro Tech's lead counsel, or not lead counsel, but Brian McGrill as well. So we will update that. We will update you at the next committee meeting just on that process and where we're going moving forward. But we don't currently have an update. Here's just a list of upcoming calendar. Again, we just voted to approve schematic design. We will be submitting the full package to the MSBA on October 27th. Amy, principal for the high school, reached out to Lynn a couple days ago and asked if the project team could give a presentation on November 8th to the teachers at the high school. Since that's voting day, I think all schools are closed in town. And the high school will be having a professional development day. So we're working out the logistics on that. The next step for the MSBA will be, after submitting, will be a facilities assessment subcommittee. We previously went before this committee for PSR, and now we'll be returning to review the schematic design submission with the committee. The MSBA Board of Directors meeting is scheduled for December 21st. As we get closer, they'll send out more information regarding attendance for local officials. And then yesterday, we at the leadership group, we reviewed kind of feedback received at the public forum on Tuesday night and came to the decision that we are going to schedule 2 additional public forums. We did talk to SMMA, and Helen got back that the 2 dates that Left Field was proposing work for their schedule, which is tentatively we're looking at December 1st, which is a Thursday, I believe, and then Tuesday, January 10th. But I need to confirm those dates with WCAT before they're official to make sure they're available for both those evenings.
Bill, you have your hand up? You have a question?
Yeah, but before you get too far, I'll bring it up now. I really strongly feel, and I'm going to ask the Permanent Building Committee to consider that we hold a forum in November, as well as a December and January. I feel leaving it empty from now until December 1st is leaving a void in information that's going to swirl around on its own if we don't have some sort of consistent message being sent out. Based on the feedback I heard at the forum and afterwards, I feel we could have done a better job as a town presenting the needs of the school. And I mean, like, what I'm guessing, what I'm thinking for this November meeting is it's not a spreadsheet meeting. It's having the school department leading the meeting. Why do we need these spaces? Having the athletic department at the meeting. This is why we need these spaces. Having AC, you have the TV station, district, there's a lot of uncertainty why we have the design we do, right? And the designers did a great job explaining why, and Lynn did, everyone in this team did their job. The people that are going to be using the spaces, though, we need to hear from them. And I feel a meeting between these 2 public forums you're showing in such a way, like having these departments ready to speak. Hey, this is the design. This is why we did this. This is why we need that. I think that would be really important information for a lot of people. I don't think it would be a waste of time. I would also propose that prior to any public forum, we call and announce public meetings for us so we can talk and collectively discuss the presentations. I find it really restrictive that I can't email edits, like, and I get it, opening meeting laws, but like, I'm so used to collaborative efforts on these presentations, and there's so many of us with so many good backgrounds, and we're so stunted by the way we have to review these presentations. And I really feel if we could get together prior, we could really hammer out, I think, a strong presentation and sort of a flow, and okay, you're going to go here, school department, and really have a better presentation as a whole, rather than just Lynn and Helen, who are our design team, but ultimately, they're not going to be the users of this building. They're not going to be paying for this building. I don't think they live in town. So I say that thinking that you guys don't live in Wakefield, but so these are my thoughts since Tuesday. I'll leave it up to the committee to discuss. If you don't think we need one, then fine. I strongly feel we need a November meeting before Thanksgiving. We could push the December one a week forward and then have January, because there's going to be a town meeting when, Joe? Early January?
No, January 28th.
January, so late January. So we have time to spread 3 meetings out between now and then without leaving gaps of time where there's no information or new information being presented. And I really feel that's what I heard the other night, is a lot of questions we knew were going to be asked. We knew these questions were going to be, I don't think any questions we were like surprised. I wasn't surprised by, right, on Tuesday. And I think it's a lot of it is we didn't hear from the users of this building. And that's where I felt like if we could have more time preparing for the meeting, and maybe with the schematic design behind you and that deadline, it would open up the team to have this meeting, and then invite and make it clear to the, again, school department, athletic department, TV, everyone to come and figure out how they're gonna inform the public about the school. So that's my 5 cents of the evening. And thank you.
John?
Yeah, thanks. So I agree with what Phil said, and that I really feel like the need in November is important. One thing that was suggested to me that I don't know if is appropriate or makes sense, but I think it does under the way that we can do things is, and while it would be this November 8th date, and so I appreciate that there's a plan already to meet with the school and the teachers, but in the past, when we had a Galvin voting day like we will on November 8th, and there was going to be a ballot initiative coming for the Envision Wakefield project, in the lobby of the Galvin during the election, during the day, there was, the folks working on that Envision Wakefield project, which was going to be on the next town meeting as an article to vote on funding. They had all the stuff like we had a town day, all the pictures up and being able to answer questions about what is Envision Wakefield. I think that we would be able to do the same thing about the high school project perhaps that day with a very captive audience of people who will be voting. So that might be an opportunity to cover maybe that November forum time, is to have that kind of running that day during the election, so that people can browse the pictures, we could answer questions, or people from SMMA or left field can perhaps answer questions directly to voters what they are asking. So that's just something I wanted to put on the table as an opportunity. I think it would be okay to do. I don't think we'd be doing anything inappropriate under election law or anything by having that, but I just wanted to put that out there as well as an idea, as something to educate the public.
Chip?
Yeah, so I agree with all of the comments made. The trouble is that I'm struggling with is I don't think it's our job to do any of this in all actuality. I think it's the school committee and the school and getting together with the group that has been formed to tell the story to the people. And that's not us, right? Unless
Who's that group, Chip? Sorry to interrupt, but who's that group that's telling the story then?
It's supposed to be, I don't even, Lynn can tell us. It's the same guys that did the Galvin. I don't know their names.
Well, the ballot
Andy
the ballot
Bray and
committee?
Michael Scolo.
The ballot committee?
Michael and who else? But they're the ones that need to get organized. They're the ones that get pushing. They're the ones that need to have another forum. They're the ones that need to set up the tables they're the ones that have to push this forward. I think we can. I mean, what you guys are talking about, I understand you're kind of posing it all as just giving the people the information. But you're actually saying we need to present it better so that we can sell it better.
No, I'm not
Without
saying,
saying-
we're not
but-
selling it, Chip. We're
that's-
presenting it better for informational purposes.
But and what's that informational purpose?
So people are informed and then they can vote however they want at that point. But the fact that we need to present things better, and I think we need to present things, and I say better and more thoroughly is what I mean. I don't mean better in a dig to anyone. I mean more, I think we could be more thorough with our presentations by having these other parties presenting the information. Because a lot of questions is why do we do it? You can't leave it to a ballot action committee to know. They're going to need to get all that information from us. So
We did, Alvin.
I don't know. Okay.
Didn't we
I
just,
Well, I'm just what the history has been. I could care. I can't say I could care less. I think what you're asking is appropriate. I think what you're suggesting is good. But what I see and what I haven't seen is the public group getting going. And that concerns me to the nth degree more than how we're presenting stuff. Now, can we give them stuff in a better, more organized way? Probably, absolutely. Do I think but I think they should run the next forum. And I think they should be the ones bringing the teachers in, or the athletic director, or Doug, or whoever, to explain all the things you're asking to be explained. Because I don't think any of that's inappropriate.
didn't we just approve schematic design? Aren't we the face of this committee? Don't we represent the town? We just
Well, but
approved
we-
schematic design. We just
we are-
approved schematic design.
Wayne, it is our job, to present the facts, to present what has been shown, but it's not our job, and it's never been our job to advocate.
Whose job is it?
The group that has been formed, the school department,
The
But
school,
Aren't we the face of this committee?
that's not the purpose of the committee, Wayne.
We build, we don't sell, we don't advocate.
Wayne, you have to understand there's a history to this.
Holy mackerel.
When the permanent building committee
Well-
was built to Galvin.
To the public
And-
forum, to our forum with the guy from the state. Wayne, did you go to that meeting?
No,
Okay, but there was we had a presentation from the guy, but also there's a history involved. There was, prior to the Galvin, one member of the permanent building committee demanded that the permanent building committee take a stand and to approve, to advocate for the passage of the proposal. And it was the opinion of the chairman at that time, and it's my opinion now, that it's not our job. Our job is to study it, look at the plans, see what's the best that is available, and make the presentation to the town, and it is up to the town to do that. Any advocating has to be done by the citizen group that has been formed, as well as if the superintendent and school department people wish to advocate as well. It is not our job. We are to be, in my kind of neutral in that regard.
I'll just say, Wayne, I'll send you the link since you weren't present at the meeting with the Office of Campaign Finance with Mr. Tate. I'll send you the link to the YouTube and some of his materials so you can review it, because his presentation will answer your questions.
Bill?
Yeah, I rewatched Jason Tate's. I'm pretty sure when you asked that, he said we could take a position. I'm
He
pretty
did.
sure he said
did.
we could. So I
He
just
did.
want to clarify that but we may not want to, and I'm not saying
I don't think we should.
and I'm not saying we should. I'm just
Okay.
saying, and I want to say what I'm presenting is not to advocate, and I know that's where everyone's where you're trending. I think it's information. I think it is our charge to inform the public on the project that we're planning. Like, we've come to this design through how many focus groups, vision groups, programming, meetings, like we've come to this design. Why all of a sudden is it not our charge to have a meeting, to have the people using this building talk about why we came to this design? Like, that's all I guess I'm presenting. I'm not saying that they show up with, yes on whatever, T-shirts and signs. Like, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm just suggesting that the next forum be held in a little bit of a different format, maybe no spreadsheets, maybe pictures of the building, and that's what I was thinking, I guess. But I think it would help a lot of people understand how we have this building design. But I'm not saying we advocate for it. I understand we can't.
Chip?
No, I'm good. I just
Okay.
think other group presented, there could be some selling, right? This is absolutely why we need it. This is why we have it. They can present harder than we can, I think.
That's correct.
I do think Andy and them are going to start that, Chip. I think they wanted this submitted and they wanted the cost finalized before they went out to start their advocating. They wanted all the facts and approved before they went out to the public.
Well,
Is
the
what I
question
recall
that-
him saying.
The question that remains is Phil's suggestion is whether we have another forum in November and that the school department and make presentations as well as to the need that they foresee, and that what they've told us, this is what they need.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have a problem with that at all.
do we have Doug Lyons on tonight, or anybody from the school on tonight?
I'm here, Chip. Tim
Tim
O'Brien.
O'Brien is.
Tim, what are your thoughts? You've heard all this. What are your thoughts at this point?
I agree completely that I think, I don't think it would hurt us to engage with the public and give them more information for them to be able to make their own informed decision. I do agree where it seems every time we do engage the public, there's a lot of misconceptions about the project. Folks are still at times wondering about why we're not building on the baseball field or elsewhere. So I think that it would certainly be helpful to engage the public as much as we can between now and January.
Will you convey that to Mr. Lyons and Amy, that this is, and the athletic director? I think that's a good idea to get them there and to answer any questions that the public has. And that's what we're there for, to answer questions that the public has.
Agreed.
And
I will,
they
send a
asked the
message
questions on Tuesday. I couldn't answer, the educational, goals and stuff like that. That's not our purview of the permanent building committee.
Exactly. I agree 100%. I'm gonna draft an email right now to send off to Doug just about the conversation and what the thoughts were.
All right, and do other people agree that maybe to have it sometime in November, and also to have our December and January forums as well? I think more forums the better. I mean,
I'm all for it.
Bill's a great point that silence is deadly.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about can we meet in person? I mean, to let the
That was talked about yesterday, and I think the goal is to have these in person at the high school, was my understanding.
Let the town see the face of the building committee and the school committee. Let the town see the face of these people making these decisions. All you see right now is my head. Yeah, let's see the whole body.
Why? Oh, well, that's a whole nother story, Wayne. But what the discussion was to have the December and January forums at the high school at the Black Box Theater, so that people actually come to the high school and see what essentially we're talking about.
Will that be big enough? Was that hold 120 people?
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember the number.
I think it's 260.
Is it? I don't remember. We built it. I just don't remember. Too long ago. I think it'd be big enough.
Lynn, what are your thoughts on a third date?
I think that's fine. I mean, we had talked about all of the stuff that we're talking about now at Wednesday's leadership meeting.
Well, Lynn, we did not talk about having the athletic director there and all the other department people there.
No, we did talk about this. We did talk about the school though, like everybody speaking up and having a part and a role.
Yeah, well, I think their role has to be increased. Because we can't answer some of these questions that people have. I'm sorry.
No, and they wrote the
What,
application. And I mean, even though I know why we have added all the spaces, you know, they're the ones that need to advocate for
Right.
them. And they can.
All right.
It always has
can I
more
just ask, what
power
about the,
from you. Sorry.
I'm
no,
sorry,
sorry,
Helen.
I was gonna say, what about,
I was
Helen,
just going to say, it always has more power coming from you.
Meaning from the permanent building committee or from faculty and teachers?
From members of the community, building users, you. We can report on the process and the design and what we heard, but people hearing firsthand what the needs are is very powerful.
Perfect.
John, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt Helen.
It's okay. Don't worry.
What about the, Phil's question about prepping for this? Like, how are we able to do that better? Because I think that was a big stumbling block on the last couple forums.
What you have to do is, if we meet, it has to be an open meeting. We can't do it by
Mhm.
email. We cannot do it by email. Unless it is unless the person is, if the presentation is presented and the person then sends the email only to that one person, not to reply all.
No,
Yeah.
but we,
Can we have an in-person meeting as a group to go through the presentation?
Sure.
That might be a more conducive time. I don't know. It's just a thought that instead of,
well, I think you're right, that if we're gonna go down this road, that we want to make sure, to Phil's points, that we do it well, we do concise, we know it's orchestrated, if you may, to use a word that may or may not be appropriate, but you know, who's talking about what, questions asked, who's going to take them, so that there's not a lot of fumbling around. And if we looked at the present, I mean, I think we have a lot of great information. It's now just putting it in the right order and presenting it. Phil, would you kind of agree? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
When
No,
to your-
I agree. I envision, yeah, exactly. Like it orchestrate is more of like, you have to, when you have a group of people at a meeting, you have to discuss, okay, you're going to go first, you're going to go second, like that needs to be done. And it's easier if we can speak openly. I don't necessarily see this as like all the spreadsheets, but I see this mostly looking at the floor plans and the designs and the drawings kind of meeting is this. So, and I understand we'd have to post it, and I would recommend we do that. I also, would add traffic advisory. There was a lot of questions about that road and a lot of kickback I heard the other night about that rotary. So I don't know, they're sort of like a third string, whether or not they would be invited to such a meeting, but
Well, not the traffic advisory committee, but the
whoever,
DPW.
yeah, someone, right, DPW, someone who could explain like the road part of things, you know.
They're the ones who want the rotary.
From the town's point of view. But yeah, Chip, you're right. I agree. I think an in-person meeting, like if we can have that, I think the meeting in town, the room up in town hall has the Zoom set up already. Like if these things have to be Zoom hybrid, I don't know what the rules are. I know like capital planning, we have to meet up there because it's hybrid in person and we have the Zoom camera. So I don't know what our options are for in-person, but we much prefer an in-person planning meeting. And I'd love to hear that the public forums are going to be moving to in-person if possible too. I think that's a great idea.
Brian?
Regarding the idea of kind of setting up similar to Town Day for the voting day coming up. in
I'm not
November.
sure that might, I'd have to find out about that.
So we do have those boards. I thought that
Right.
Town Day was very effective for having people come and look at the boards and just stand there in front and understand the project. There are embedded QR codes on the boards where people can point their phone, they can click and then go to all of the project resources online. So we have those boards. If it's okay, I'll reach out to Doug.
All right, Brian, the
and-
problem with that, as I recall, that ethical thing is using the town facilities and using a town thing such as an election. I don't know. We would have to have that cleared.
Joe, I'll contact Mr. Tate at the state office to get his opinion on that.
Yeah, I
And,
think that we're getting dangerous to where what some of the things he talked about.
This is like one of those key examples. He said, please contact me
Yeah,
before you do anything.
but I agree, Brian, if the boards and the Q code or whatever that stuff is, which I've never been able to figure out, that people can do more technologically advanced than me, which is not everybody.
We have the boards. We're happy to share them. And
Yep.
place them somewhere. I'll be going to the school on the 8th, November 8th,
Right.
for the briefing, so I could bring them then.
I think, Brian, we might have to create other ones.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Wait a minute. You're gonna be making a presentation that day.
Yes, that's the one that Tim mentioned.
You couldn't be at the polling place.
Can't be a big place.
Well, I could bring the boards with me and drop them off.
Yeah, well, let's find out if it's appropriate, if it's okay to do it first. Then we'll figure out the logistics.
Did you mind if I just ask Brian quickly if the boards he does have, a lot of other projects we've left them after we've presented them, we leave them at town hall on display so that when anyone wanders in to pay a bill or anything at town hall, they can see the boards. Now that we have them, we can pretty much leave them there till the vote. I don't know if that's something you want to consider, Joe.
Well,
we have to run that by.
Yeah, we'd have to run that by the town.
We also have leftover handouts and stuff like that we can hand out at the if we do it in person, public forum, and maybe even put them at town hall. I don't know.
The problem I have with early voting and all the stuff that happens now, our lobby at town hall has become very
it's very crowded.
Yeah, ever was. And we're just coming up into that weird town. So, I think you could ask Steve Mayo about that. I think this, but again, and I appreciate where everybody's coming from. I really want to see this outside group and start getting involved. So hopefully Tim is correct that now that we've formed it and we know our costs, it's time for them to kick into gear.
I can reach out to Andy and see if there's anything he needs from the project management team regarding information as well. Just kind of have a quick update, check in with him, just see how they're doing.
Yeah, and I'd love him to take the lead, and maybe work with Phil online or offline, but I'd love to take him to take the lead on all the next public forums. Because that's the group that should really be taking the lead, in my humble opinion.
We just have to make sure that it's not, we have to verify that if they're hosting it, that with all the PBC being there, just we'll double check with the state office just to make sure that that's all copacetic.
Not if the PBC is there, it has to be a notice of an open.
No, we're at the forum and that's not noted.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but we can be at the forums. It's not a meeting.
Right. But if we are together, we do have to give a notice of it.
Only
if we did anyway, so it doesn't matter. You would give notice of the thing anyway.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions, comments? Lynn, Tim, you want to follow up on all of these? With the school department, with the outside group, and see if we can make arrangement for something in November and look at people's schedule. Let's go from there, okay?
Tim O'Brien, when you send the email to Doug, can you just make sure Lynn and I are copied on it so we're just aware of what's going on?
You got it.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other questions regarding public forums or outreach, etc.? Next, Tim, is that it?
I move that we adjourn.
I
Do I hear?
second.
Thank you.
Woohoo.
And all in favor, click leave meeting.
Night,
Thanks.
guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Night.
Good night.
Thanks.
Thanks. Have a good night.